Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Shri Nityananda Prabhu Bhagavad Mahotsav Ki Jai. Brandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So first we read pleasure of the Lordships. Nityananda Tattva, the ontological position of Nityananda Prabhu, and then we can read some pastimes, yes? So it's like two parts. First your what do you say? First your savouries and then your sweets. But it's all sweet, of course, but to know what is the position of Nityananda Prabhu ontologically in Panchatattva, the fivefold expansions of the Lord. So I've got here Gaudiya Kantaha. Do you know this book? Okay, it was compiled at the time of and under the direction of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, compilation of verses which are very good, very helpful for Vaishnavas, preachers particularly, but anyone, of course. So in the book it's going through the major categories: Nam Tattva, Guru Tattva, Gora Tattva, all Pancha Tattva. So the fifth jewel is called Sri Nityananda Tattva. It's not very long. Here. Take this. Okay. So we all can feel about participating in this program here today. I shall read the verse, the Sanskrit, there's only a few verses, and you can read the translation, would you? And the verses around it here. It's called Nityananda Tattva. Nityananda and Advaita, two main branches of the Chaitanya tree. Advaita Acharya Nityananda Dui Anga, Dui Jana Lana Prabhur Joto Kichuranga.
Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Acharya are the two expansions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who assist him in his transcendental pastimes. Chaitanya Charitamrita 5.146.
Sankarshana Karna Thoi Thoyashai Garbhodashai Chapayobdishai Sheshas Chacha Shangsha Kala Sanityanandhakya Rama Sharanam Mamastu.
May Sri Nityananda Prabhu be the object of my constant remembrance. Sankarshan Mahavishnu, Garbhodakasai Vishnu, and Kilodakasai Vishnu, as well as Sesh, are his expansions and expansions of his expansions. That self-same Nityananda Prabhu is none other than Balaram himself.
Mayatite Vyapi Vaikuntha Loke Punaishvaje Sri Chatur Vyuha Madhye Rupang Jashod Bhati Sankarshanakyam Tang Sri Nityananda Ramang Prapadye.
I surrender unto the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, who is known as Shankarshan in the midst of the Chaturvyuha, the fourfold manifestation of Vishnu, consisting of Vasudeva, Shankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. He possesses full opulences and resides in the spiritual world, Vaikuntha Loka, far beyond the material creation.
Maya Bhata Janda Shanga Shayanga Shete Shakshad Karanam Bhuti Madhye Jasjaikangsha Sri Pumang Adidevas Tang Sri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye.
I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, whose partial representation, called Hiranyaksha Vishnu, lying in the Karna ocean, is the original Purusha, the master of illusory energy, and the shelter of all the universes.
Jashangsha Srila Garbhodashai Jan Nab Habjam Loka Shanghata Nalam Loka Shastu Shutika Dhama Dhatus Tang Sri Nityananda Ramang Prapadye.
I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Rama, a partial part of whom is Garbhodashai Vishnu. From the navel of Garbhodashai Vishnu sprouts the lotus stem that is the birthplace of Brahma, the engineer of the universe. The stem of the lotus is the resting place of the multitude of planets.
Jashang Shang Shah Paramatma Kilanam Pushta Vishnur Bhati Dugdabdi Shai Kshoni Bhata Jat Kalaso Pyanantas Tang Sri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye.
I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Rama, whose secondary part as the Vishnu lying in the ocean of milk. That
Kshirodakshai. Kshirodakshai means kir, milk, kir. Kshirodakshai, because he's lying in the ocean of milk.
Is the super soul of all living entities and the maintainer of all the universe. Shesh Nag is his further subpart. Baladev is the original.
Oh, okay, sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, that's the next section we're going to. Now, that first section was the Nityananda Prabhu as the main branch of the Chaitanya tree. And then this second part is called Baladev is the original Sankarshan. You're getting the picture now, yeah? About Nityananda Baladev, he's supporting everything, immense strength, Balaram, but strength in many ways, not, obviously physical, but strength in many aspects. The Ananta Shesh, supporting the universes on this earth, and supporting and serving the pastimes of Vishnu, Lord Vishnu. Sri Balarama Goshai Mula Shankarshan Pancharup Dhari Korena Krishna Sevan Apane Korena Krishna Lilar Shahoy Shrishti Lila Kaja Karidhari Chari Koi.
Lord Balaram is the original Sankarshan. He assumes 5 other forms to serve Lord Krishna. He himself helps in the pastimes of Lord Krishna, and he does the work of creation in 4 other forms. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi 5.5-9.
Balaram and Nityananda are non-different. Prem Pracharan Ar Pashandadalan Dui Kaje Abadut Korena Brahman.
For 2 purposes, to spread the cult of bhakti and to defeat and subdue the atheists. Lord Nityananda, the most dedicated devotee of the Lord, moved throughout the country with
the glories of Nityananda Prabhu. Jagat Mataya Nitai Premera Mala Sate Bhalaya Dudanta Kali Padiya Vibrate Kishuke Bhashila Jeev Gaur Chandra Nati Dekhiya Shunya Pashandir Bhuk Bhate.
All glories to Nityananda Prabhu, maddened by ecstatic love of Godhead, overwhelmed the universe with ecstasy. He slapped his hands together like a warrior who is about to attack, and upon seeing this, the wicked Kali fled in terror, fearing for his life. All souls were drowned in happiness because of the dancing of Sri Gauranga and Nityananda. Seeing such dancing or even hearing of it melts the hearts of even great atheists.
14. Jai Jai Nityananda Nityananda Ram Janhara Kripate Painu Brindavana Dham. Jai Jai Nityananda Jai Kripa Maya Jana Hoite Painu Rupa Sanatanashray Jana Hoite Painu Raghunath Mahashay Jana Hoite Painu Sri Swarup Ashray Sanatan Kripai Painu Bhaktir Siddhant Sri Rup Kripai Painu Bhakti Rasa Prant Jai Jai Nityananda Charanaravinda Jannara Hoite Painu Sri Radha Govinda.
All glory to Lord Nityananda, Balaram, by whose mercy I have attained shelter in the transcendental abode of Vrindavan. All glory to the merciful Lord Nityananda, by whose mercy I have attained shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatana. By his mercy I have attained the shelter of the great personality, Sri Raghunatha Das Goswami, and by his mercy I found refuge of Sri Swarupa Damodara. Yet to the mercy of Sanatana Goswami, I have learned the final conclusions of devotional service, and by the grace of Sri Rupa Goswami, I have tasted the highest nectar of devotional service. All glory to the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, by whose mercy I have attained Sri Radha Govinda.
Nityananda is the saviour of the most fallen. Jogai madhai hoite muni se papishta, purishera kitta hoite muni se lagishta, more naam shune jay thara punya kshay, more naam loy jay thara papa hoy, emana nirghrina more keva kripa kare, ek Nityananda binu jagat bitare, preme matta Nityananda kripa avatar, uttam adham kichu na kari bichar, je age podaye thare kore nishtar, oteva nishtarela mo hena durachar.
I am more sinful than the Gayamudai and even lower than the worms in the stool. Anyone who hears my name loses the result of his pious activities. Anyone who utters my name becomes sinful. Who in this world of Nityananda could show his mercy to such an abominable person as me? Because he is intoxicated by ecstatic love and is an incarnation of mercy, he doesn't distinguish between the good and the bad. He delivers all those who fall down before him. Therefore, he has delivered such a sinful and fallen person as me. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adamida 5-0.
Freedom from anathas and the desire for bhakti is strengthened by the mercy of Nitai. Sangsarera parahoy bhaktira sagare chedu vivese bhajuk Nitai chandere.
One who would cross over the ocean of material existence and swim in the bhakti ocean should worship the lotus feet of Nityananda.
Nityananda is the foremost preacher. Chaitanyara Adi Bhakta Nityananda Rai, Chaitanyara Jasho Vaishe Janhara Jivai, Ahanisha Chaitanyara Kotha Prabhu Kai, Thanne Bhajale Se Chaitanya Bhakti Hoy.
Sri Chaitanya's first and foremost devotee is Nityananda Rai. The glories of Lord Sri Chaitanya are always on his tongue. Day and night, Lord Nityananda speaks only of Sri Chaitanya. Whoever worships him is a real devotee of Sri Chaitanya.
Nityananda Prabhu is mad about the service of Sri Chaitanya. Nityananda Avadut Shabate Agal Chaitanyara Dashe Preme Hoila Pagal.
Sri Nityananda, the wandering mendicant, is the foremost of all the servants of Sri Chaitanya. He is like the gateway through which all service to Sri Chaitanya must pass. He became mad in the ecstasy of service of Sri Chaitanya.
Those who have no faith that Gaura and Nitai are inseparable are offenders and atheists. Dui bhai ek tonu shamana prakash, Nityananda namana, tomar hobish sarvanash, ekede vishwas onye nakara shaman, ada kukuti noy, tomara praman.
These two brothers call it Nitai. Are like one body. They are identical manifestations. If you do not believe in Lord Nityananda, you will fall down. If you have faith in no one to disrespect the other, your logic is like the logic of accepting half a hair.
Faith in Gora without Nitai, or Nitai without Gaur, is flickering faith and in opposition to pure devotional service. Kingva donha na manina hauta pashand, eke mani aranamani ematta band.
It would be better to be an atheist by slighting both brothers than a hypocrite by believing in one and slighting the other.
That's the end of the 5th jewel of Gaudiya Kantahar, entitled Nityananda Tattva. So we have here in the Madhya Kanda of Chaitanya Bhagavatam about Nityananda Prabhu's pastimes in chapter 11. So Vrindavan Das Thakur, first few verses, he's praising, glorifying Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Vishvambara, and this is the pastimes with Nityananda Prabhu in Navadip. So Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda were enjoying their pastimes in Navadip, but he says yet not everybody could see them. The pastimes in Navadip described in the Madhya Kanda are unlimited. The fortunate Srivas saw them in his own house. He served the Lord without any duplicity. For this reason, he and his family could see the Lord's Mahaprakash, or divine manifestation, that was in the previous chapter. 24 hours, Lord Chaitanya, he exhibited his transcendental opulences in the house of Srivas, with many arms, like Vishnu, many arms, accepting. They couldn't bring enough offerings for him. They were going scouring the villages and nearby to bring enough foodstuffs, and he was just taking everything and exhibiting his transcendental opulence in Navadip. So the early pastimes, and he was like Gaura Narayan. This is before he entered into the Radha Bhav mood later on, after sannyas. Nityananda continued to reside at the house of Srivas and lovingly addressed him as father. Okay, Srivas and Malini, this couple, devotees, Lord Chaitanya, and so Nityananda is considering himself like a gopa, a cowherd boy, and like in Vrindavan. So he's seeing Srivas and Malini as his parents, and he's behaving like that with them, like a small boy. He was absorbed day and night in the mood of a child and was not aware of external events. He continually drank milk from Malini's breast. Although there was no milk in her breasts, by the touch of Nityananda they were filled with milk. Such was the inconceivable potency of the Lord. Being forbidden by Lord Chaitanya, Malini did not tell anyone about this. She constantly saw the childhood pastimes of Nityananda. Lord Vishvambara said, "Listen, Nityananda, you always pick a quarrel with someone. Do not play mischief at the house of Srivas." Hearing these words, Nityananda remembered Lord Krishna and replied, "You will never see me playing mischief. Do not consider me like yourself." Vishvambara then said, "I know you very well." Nityananda replied, "Tell me what faults you find in me." Gaurachandra smiled and said, "Do you want to know your faults? You throw showers of foodstuffs in every room." Nityananda said, "Only a madman acts like that. This is your trick to deprive me from eating rice. You do not feed me rice while you yourself eat happily. Why else are you telling everyone about my misdeeds?" The Lord said, "I feel embarrassed by your misdeeds. For this reason I am instructing you. Nityananda smiled and said, "That is very good. Whenever you see me restless, please chastise me. You must have understood that I am indeed restless." After speaking in this way, he looked at the Lord and laughed loudly. Out of ecstasy, Nityananda lost his external consciousness and forgot what he was doing. He then removed his cloth and tied it on his head. He laughed as he jumped about and staggered like a drunkard around the courtyard. Seeing Nityananda without any clothes, Gadadhar, Srivas and Haridas understood that these pastimes were to teach some lesson. Nakibali Vishwambar eki kara karma, grihastera badite e matta nahi dharma. Vishwambara called out, "What are you doing? It's not proper to act like this in a householder's house. A little while ago you asked, 'Am I a madman?' But now you are contradicting your own words." Can anyone's words embarrass a person who has lost his external consciousness? Nityananda floated in an ocean of ecstasy. The Lord then personally caught hold of Nityananda and dressed him. Such are the inconceivable pastimes of Nityananda. Nityananda was like a maddened lion and could not be controlled by anything other than Lord Chaitanya's words, which were like a sharp iron hook. He did not eat rice with his own hands. Malini would feed him as her own son. Chaste Malini knew the glories of Nityananda. Thus she served Nityananda as an affectionate mother would serve her son. One day a crow took a brass bowl and flew away into the forest. Soon the crow flew out of sight, and a great anxiety filled the heart of Malini. Leaving the bowl somewhere, the crow returned. Malini saw that the bowl was not in its beak. Srivas Pandit would become extremely angry because the bowl that was used for offering ghee to Krishna had been stolen. Thinking that he would create havoc as soon as he heard about it, Malini did not say anything but simply kept crying. At that time Nityananda came there and found Malini crying profusely. Ashi bale Nityananda, khanda ki karan, khandukka bala, shaba kariba khandan. Nityananda smiled and said, "Why are you crying? Tell me the reason for your distress and I'll take care of everything." Malini replied, "Listen, Goshai, a crow stole a ghee bowl and left it somewhere." Nityananda said, "Dear mother, don't worry. I'll give you the bowl. Please stop crying." The Lord smiled and said to the crow, "O crow, return the bowl at once." Lord Nityananda resides in the heart of everyone. Therefore, who has the power to transgress his order? We're hearing in the previously about the three Vishnus, what's called the Purush avatars, expansions of Sankarshan, who's an expansion of Baladev. So you have Mahavishnu and his expansion Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and his expansion Kshirodakshay Vishnu resides in the ocean of milk at the top of the universe, and he is expanded into the heart of every living being and every atom of existence. So that's Nityananda Prabhu. So like in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says, "I am seated in the heart of every living being, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness," like that. Paramatma, actually Nityananda Prabhu, Baladev, specifically. Being ordered by the Lord, the crow immediately flew away as Malini, who was overwhelmed with lamentation, looked on. Within a short time the crow flew out of sight and then returned there with the bowl in its beak. The crow set the bowl down in front of Malini, who knew perfectly well the influence of Nityananda. There's a quotation here about this from Bhagavatam. "For he who brought back the dead son of his spiritual master, who maintains all the universes, and who can bring a soul back from the abode of Yamaraj, it is not at all glorious to bring a bowl back from a crow. For he who holds innumerable universes on his head, and yet does not feel their weight, and for he whose holy name destroys one's nescience, that has no beginning, what is the wonder that he brings a bowl back from a crow? While living in exile in the forest as Lakshman, you constantly remain by the side of Sita as her protector. You never saw Sita except for her lotus feet. So in the Ramayana, Lakshman speaks to Sita Devi, O beautiful one, what are you saying? O pious lady, I've never seen your form before. I've only seen your lotus feet. That was when he had to draw the mystic circle around the cottage, so that Sita wasn't supposed to go outside that. And Ram left Lakshman to protect her. And she made some comment, to Lakshman, oh, you want to take me as for yourself. And he said like that. For you who destroyed the entire family of Ravan by your arrows, what is the glory in bringing a bowl back from a crow? After realizing your power and glories, Jamuna Devi previously offered prayers at your lotus feet. That's when Lord Baladevi dragged the Jamuna with his plough. He called Jamuna, she didn't come immediately, so with his plough he was putting towards him. So then she was like offering prayers to him. Lovely prayers they were as well. For he who possesses the power to maintain the 14 worlds, what is the glory in bringing a bowl back from a crow? Still, your activities are not insignificant. Whatever you do is eternal and confirmed by the Vedas. These were all the prayers of Malini after this event, when he returned the bowl back from the crow. So obviously she was learned in the Shastras. She's quoting Ramayana, Srimad Bhagavatam. So, supposedly a simple household lady, but she's also knowing many things. After hearing Malini's prayers, Nityananda smiled and in the mood of a child said, I will eat. As soon as Malini would see Nityananda, milk would automatically flow from her breasts, and in the mood of a child, Nityananda would drink her milk. Such are the inconceivable characteristics of Nityananda. What more can I say? They are already known throughout the world. His activities are extraordinary and incomprehensible. Anyone who actually knows him accepts his pastimes as true. Absorbed in transcendental ecstasy, the most effulgent Nityananda wandered day and night throughout Nadia. Some say that Lord Nityananda is a great yogi, while some say he is a great philosopher. Others may say whatever they desire, and why should they not say so? Whatever relationship Nityananda may have with Lord Chaitanya, I still keep his lotus feet within my heart. This is Vrindavan Das Thakur expressing his own feeling, because he was specifically very devoted to Lord Nityananda exclusively. So he's saying many people said many things about Nityananda because his pastimes are very inconceivable and non-understandable. He's called Avadut. Avadut means someone who doesn't follow ordinary rules of life in normal society, civilized society. So, that may cause some scandal in different quarters, So he's saying, I always keep the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu within my heart. And if in spite of hearing the glories of Nityananda, one blasphemes him, then I kick the head of such a sinful person. And Srila Guru Maharaj gave a commentary on that. He said that people may criticize, Vrindavan Das Thakur, he's showing pride, and this isn't Vaishnava quality. Vaishnava is supposed to be humble, tolerant, but he's saying if anyone blasphemes Nitya, I'll kick him in the head. But he was explaining that's very good. That's very good for that person. To be kicked by a Vaishnava is a blessing for them. And whatever a pure Vaishnava does is good. It doesn't what it may appear like externally. So, in this way, Nityananda Prabhu resided in the house of Srivas. Lord Gauranga constantly protected him. One day, the most enchanting Lord Vishvambara was sitting in his house with Lakshmi at his side. Here, Lakshmi meaning Vishnu Priya, his first wife. Lakshmi was offering betel nuts to the Lord in great happiness, and the Lord was so pleased that he didn't know whether it was day or night. Whenever Vishvambara enjoyed pastimes with Lakshmi, Mother Sachi felt great happiness in her heart. Naturally, like any mother would see, when the son is getting on nicely with the wife, he'd be very happy. That's why she was so upset when Nimai left to take sannyas and like that. Knowing that this made his mother happy, the Lord spent time in the company of Lakshmi. At that time, the most restless Nityananda came to the Lord's house, overwhelmed in ecstasy. He stood there in the mood of a child without any clothes on. He was so absorbed in ecstasy that he didn't feel shy before anyone. The Lord said to him, "Oh Nityananda, why don't you have any clothes on?" Nityananda replied, "Yes, yes." The Lord said, "Nityananda, put on your cloth." He's in front of Lakshmi as well, right? Nityananda replied, "Today I will go." He's just answering like with totally something completely unrelated to what Lord Chaitanya is saying. He's in ecstasy. The Lord asked, "Nityananda, why do you act like this?" Nityananda replied, "I cannot eat any more." The Lord then inquired, "When I ask you something, why do you reply something else?" Nityananda said, "I went there 10 times. In an angry mood, the Lord said, "I have no fault." Nityananda replied, "Mother Sachi's not here." The Lord said, "Please be kind and put on your cloth." Nityananda said, "I will eat." Lord Nityananda was fully intoxicated with ecstatic love for Lord Chaitanya. He heard one thing and replied something else. In this way he laughed as he wandered about. The Lord then got up and personally put clothes on Nityananda. The son of Padmavati lost all external consciousness and smiled. On seeing these characteristics of Nityananda, Mother Sachi smiled. Within her mind she treated Nityananda as her son Vishvarup. Often Mother Sachi heard Nityananda speak exactly like Vishvarup and saw him in the form of Vishvarup. But she did not disclose this to anyone. She showed equal affection to both Vishvambara and Nityananda. On regaining his external consciousness, Nityananda put on his clothes and Mother Sachi gave him some milk sweets to eat. When Mother Sachi gave 5 pieces of sandesh to Nityananda, he ate one and threw away the rest. "Hoi hoi, bhale ai, kine phelaila?" Nityananda bole, "Kine eko dhani dila." "Oh," said Mother Sachi, "why did you throw them away?" Nityananda replied, "Why did you give them to me all at once?" She said, "I've no more sweets. What will you eat now?" Nityananda replied, "If you desire, you will certainly find them." To her amazement, Mother Sachi found those 4 pieces of sandesh intact within the room. She asked, "Where did the sandesh fall? How did they come within the room?" Being struck with wonder, Mother Sachi removed the dust from the sandesh and happily came outside. She saw that Nityananda was eating those same sweets. She said, "Dear son, where did you get those?" Nityananda replied, "These are the same sweets I threw away. Seeing your distress, I brought them back." Seeing these wonders, Mother Sachi contemplated, who is that person who does not know the glories of Nityananda? She said, "Oh Nityananda, why do you deceive me? I know you are the Supreme Lord. Therefore please remove your illusion." In the mood of a child, Nityananda tried to grab Mother Sachi's feet, but she ran away. The characteristics of Nityananda are unfathomable. For pious persons, they are beneficial, and for sinful persons, they create obstacles. Even the Ganges runs away from a person who blasphemes Lord Nityananda. So the meaning is that the Mother Ganga, she takes away sinful reactions, yeah? So everybody takes bath in the Ganga, general Hindus or people, but she will run away from somebody who blasphemes Nityananda Prabhu. In other words, it's very, very difficult to nullify such an offence to Nityananda Prabhu. He says, Narottam Das in his bhajan, he says he's Pashu, he's no better than an animal. Somebody who didn't have any conception or idea or feeling or attachment or connection or anything with Nityananda. He's like an animal, worse than an animal. His human form of life is wasted. Lord Nityananda is Ananta Shesh, the supreme controller, the maintainer of all universes, and the king of the Vaishnavas. Whatever relationship Nityananda may have with Lord Chaitanya, I still keep his lotus feet within my heart. He said it again, repeating again. I offer my respectful obeisances at the feet of the Vaishnavas and pray that Nityananda, who is non-different from Balaram, may always remain my master. Accepting Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan, thus sing the glory of their lotus feet. So in the next chapters, continuing this, we have some time, about the glories of Nityananda Prabhu. In this way, Lord Nityananda and Lord Vishvambara enjoyed various pastimes in Navadvip. Lord Nityananda was fully absorbed in transcendental ecstatic love for Krishna, yet he constantly behaved like a young boy. There's a nice commentary here, says, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's commentary, persons who are intoxicated by material happiness do not possess any information about the happiness derived from Krishna's service. Since Lord Nityananda was fully intoxicated by ecstatic love for Krishna, he constantly displayed the characteristics of a small boy. People who are intoxicated by material enjoyment deviate from the principle of simplicity by taking shelter of worldly deceit. Such material conceptions were never found in the characteristics of Nityananda. So the point making that a person who is spiritually, the more spiritually advanced, developed a person becomes, one of the symptoms is they'll become more simple and in a way childlike, innocent, childlike. But people who are very materially intoxicated, they become very complex, thinking very deviously, always thinking about how for their own profit and distinction and all these things. So he's giving the example, Nityananda Avadut, how also in the Srimad Bhagavatam is describing the Avadut Brahmin in there, the 24 gurus of the Avadut Brahmin. So he wandered restlessly like a child around the place. It's one of the symptoms. Simplicity, not duplicity. Nityananda spoke sweetly with everyone he saw. He engaged in dancing, singing, playing musical instruments and laughing. Sometimes he roared loudly out of his own ecstasy. Hearing his roar, everyone became struck with wonder. It's like Lord Balaram, he used to do that when you became intoxicated with the so-called intoxicated with the Varuni beverage. He used to just roar and shout, Sometimes you see a perverted reflection, right? In the material world, drunk people walking in the street just shouting to no one in particular, as if they're possessed by a ghost, So in his ecstasy, Lord Nityananda used to shout and roar like that. During the rainy season, the waves of the Ganges were full of crocodiles, yet Nityananda fearlessly floated in the water. On seeing him floating, people became frightened and exclaimed, "Oh, oh!" But Nityananda smiled and continued to float. He floated in the Ganges in the mood of Ananta. Not understanding his glories, everyone lamented, "Alas, alas," saying in the Bengali, "Hoi, hoi." Difficult to translate. Alas, alas sounds a bit stilted, in English, but yeah. So it's an expression. So he's floating in the Ganga like Ananta Shesh, quite happily, So sometimes he lost consciousness due to ecstatic love and didn't regain consciousness even after 3 or 4 days. In this way he performed many inconceivable pastimes. I couldn't describe them all, even if I possessed unlimited mouths. One day Nityananda came before the Lord while he was sitting. In the mood of a child, Nityananda had no clothes on. He constantly smiled and tears of love flowed from his lotus eyes. Lord Nityananda then roared loudly and repeatedly proclaimed, "Nimai Pandit of Nadir is my Lord." On seeing Nityananda without any clothes on, the Lord laughed. The beautiful body of Nityananda was full of effulgence. The Lord hurriedly took off the cloth from his own head and put it on Nityananda, who simply laughed. Then the Lord smeared sandalwood paste on Nityananda's transcendental body and offered him a flower garland. The Lord offered Nityananda an asan to sit in front of him. Then the Lord offered prayers while all the devotees attentively listened. Name Nityananda tumi rupe Nityanand, e tumi Nityanand Rama Muttimant. Your name is Nityananda and your form is Nityananda, full of eternal bliss. You are directly Lord Balaram. And there's a quotation from the Brihad Jamal, Lord Krishna, saying, Balaramo mamai vangsha sopi tatra bhavishyati Nityananda iti khato nyashi chadu mani kshito. Sri Balaram, whose my expansion, will also appear in Navadip as the crest jewel among the sannyasis and will be known as Sri Nityananda. And again in Chaitanya Charitamrita, E Krishna Navadipe Sri Chaitanya Chandra Sai Balaram Shange Sri Nityananda. That original Lord Krishna appeared in Navadip as Lord Chaitanya, and Balaram appeared with him as Lord Nityananda. Text 19. Your travelling, eating and dealings are all full of eternal bliss. There is never any diminution in your enjoyment of eternal bliss. How can human beings understand you? It is a fact that you are present wherever Krishna is. So the first expansion of the Lord and the Lord himself, Nityananda Baladev, Sankarshan, he is the, as we say, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and simultaneously and inconceivably the Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead. Yeah, and like Guru Tattva, it's like that. The most magnanimous Nityananda is absorbed in ecstatic love for Lord Chaitanya, so whatever he speaks or does is always approved by the Lord. The Lord said, "Give me a piece of your kopin. I have a great desire to have it." And a commentary here. While travelling to the holy places with one sannyasi, who is believed to be Madhavendra Puri, Madhavendra Puri came right to the house of parents of Nityananda, Naked Chakra, and they begged him, as in those days, you had to, apparently, if you had a son, and the sannyasi would ask, and the son would have to go with him and travel with him. They say that was Madhavendra Puri. So Lord Nityananda formally accepted the principle of wearing the brahmachari kopin. Mahaprabhu expressed a desire to beg that kopin, which is the sign of a brahmachari. The wearing of kopin entails covering the lower part of one's body with the minimum required cloth. Persons who are intoxicated by material enjoyment engage in deceitfulness in the name of civilization and declare the absence of simplicity as gentlemanliness by dressing opulently. In order to stop dressing and eating opulently, which are aimed at maintaining adultery, the acceptance of kopin is indicative of the greatness of ashram dharma, the occupational duty of a particular caste. Text 23. After speaking in this way, the Lord took Nityananda's kopin and tore it into many small pieces. He then personally distributed those pieces to every one of the Vaishnavas. He said, "Tie this piece of cloth on your head. What to speak of others, even the greatest mystic yogis desire this. Simply by the mercy of Nityananda, one obtains devotional service of Vishnu. Know it for certain that Nityananda is the full potency of Vishnu." So he's a form of the Lord, the presiding over what's called the Sandini potency. And there are three potencies: Samvit, Sandini and Hladini. Srimati Radharani is a personification of Hladini potency. Then you have the Samvit, knowledge potency, and the Sandini is the potency of maintenance, existence. So as the super soul, Nityananda Balaram, Sankarshan, as super soul, is maintaining all living beings, existing within their heart and in the heart of every atom of creation, and maintaining. But it's actually maintaining through love, through affection. It's not just maintaining like, God, I've got to do. No, it's, because if that is withdrawn, everything is gone. It's a chaos, And there's no reason for him to do that. Once the soul has gone away, turned away from Krishna, coming to the material world, but he very kindly accompanies the soul life after life after life in his heart, through every species of life and through love and affection. So that way Nityananda is the full potency of Krishna, and as a Sandini potency he's expanded into the spiritual world, the existence of the spiritual existence itself, Chintamani Dham, so that this is giving the environment for the Lord to play his transcendental pastimes. So, as we say, Nityananda Balaram, the Mridanga, the Kartals, everything that is for the service of the Lord is an expansion of Baladev. That's why we respect all these things. We don't put them on the floor and, we're always touching their head like that, because so forth. However, as we know, because they're separate, Hladini, Shakti and Sandini potency, so that is always separate, and that is a very, shouldn't be mixing, and certain school, they're mistakenly doing that, mixing. They're called the Gaur Nagaris, sect of so-called Vaishnavas, and they're saying that Lord Chaitanya is the enjoyer, like Krishna, the enjoyer of all women, or like that. And that's completely wrong, because as Lord Chaitanya, he's coming as a strict sannyasi and so forth. The mood is different, so they're not mixing. That's why we're not even having Gaur Nitai or on the same with Radha Krishna Murtis. It'd be some separate. And I once saw that there was a temple, and they had the Gaur Nitai like that together on the same, and the curtains open for Aarti, and the person giving the lecture, he said, "Oh, what is that? You have to change it," and then the poor Pujari was standing there like, what to do? Should I continue with the Aarti, or should I close the curtains and move the deities? And he just said like that. This is correct, actually, However, Lord Nityananda Prabhu also has a form, Baladev, as Ananga Manjari, yes, younger sister of Radharani, and in that form he can assist in the conjugal pastimes. In that separate form, he assists as a Manjari, assisting the Shakis in the conjugal pastimes. This is another reason why Narottam Thakur says, Eno nitai bine bai, Radha Krishna paite nai, Dridya kari dhara nitar pai. Unless one takes shelter under the shade of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, it will be very difficult for him to approach Radha Krishna. If one actually wants to enter into the dancing party of Radha Krishna, he must firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. As the Supreme Jagat Guru, Sri Nityananda Prabhu alone is the origin of Guru Tattva. In regards to the devotee Jagat Guru, the spiritual master is an incarnation of Sri Nityananda, who is the manifestation of Sri Chaitanya. The spiritual master is most dear to Lord Krishna because, like Sri Nityananda, he is also a manifestation of Sri Chaitanya, and he is renowned to be as good as Nityananda. Okay. Text 27. Nityananda is the second manifestation of Krishna. He serves the Lord as his companion, friend, bed, ornaments, well-wisher and brother. The characteristics of Nityananda are incomprehensible to the Vedas. He is the origin, protector and friend of all living entities. So he is the maintainer of all living entities, Nityananda Prabhu, and the protector and the shelter and friend. Text 29. His dealings are full of transcendental mellows for Krishna. Just by serving him, one obtains devotional service in love of Krishna. This is all Lord Chaitanya speaking to the devotees. Tie the piece of his coping on your head with devotion. Go home and worship it with great care. Being ordered by the Lord, all the devotees respectfully tied those pieces of coping on their heads. It's the underwear. It's just like two pieces of cloth. One is around, like a belt tied, and one goes underneath. It's very scientific. When you take sannyas, they give you the coping, I remember. And it's very scientific, like, for example, in the thing we wear, the bottom, it's not called a dhoti, it's called something else, forget the name, abirvas, the outer cloth. The bit doesn't go up the back, like with the brahmachari one. So it's just round. And that bottom piece and the top piece, the uttarya, is exactly half. So that'd be like 2.5 meters in the bottom, 1 1/4 on the top. And the coping is from here, you measure it by this, so the nipple's there. And that's the width of it. It's very scientific. So he took the coping of Nityananda and tore it into pieces and distributed it as prasad to all the devotees. Then they would have sense control. See, the Lord said, "Listen, devotees, drink the water that has washed the feet of Nityananda. As soon as one drinks that water, one will develop fixed devotional service to Krishna. There's no doubt about it." So Baladev Nityananda is a fixed, it's a bala, strength. He's solid, like Ananta is holding the universes. So you'll get that nishtha, a steadiness in devotion by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. Like a foundation. So when you build a building, if the foundation, you dig very deep, have a deep foundation, then as you go up, different stories going up, you can be very high, So you can't go towards Krishna consciousness, like it said, service of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, without the deep foundation. Because if you don't have a deep foundation, you get up to like 5 stories, 6 stories, just topple over, isn't it? When the wind comes, or some disturbance comes in the environment, or get attacked by something, it'll also says.
And the deep foundation is faith?
Nityananda Prabhu. Faith in Nityananda Prabhu, service of Nityananda Prabhu. So he's like the root. They call him Mool Sankarshan. The root of Krishna consciousness. So being ordered by the Lord, all the devotees immediately washed the feet of Nityananda with water and drank it. Some of the devotees drank 5 times and some drank 10 times. Nityananda laughed constantly and didn't know what was going on. So he's completely intoxicated in love of Krishna. Normally, someone like, if you'd wash my feet, I'd be thinking, oh, it's very nice. But he's completely, doesn't even know what's happening. He's just laughing, Thinks it's fun, Sitting where he was, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, in great jubilation, personally distributed the water that washed the feet of Nityananda. After drinking the water from Nityananda's feet, everyone became intoxicated and loudly chanted the name of Hari. Someone said, "Today my life has become successful." Someone else said, "Today my material bondage is vanquished. Today I've become a servant of Krishna. Today is the most auspicious day for me." Another one said, "This water is so tasty that I still feel sweetness in my mouth." What wonderful influence the water that washed the feet of Nityananda has, for just by drinking that water everyone became agitated. If I'd have read this before, we could have had Abhishek and had the Charanamrit, Lord. After drinking that water, someone danced, someone sang, and someone rolled on the ground. Others roared loudly all the time. A tumultuous, ecstatic kirtan was begun, and all the devotees were completely overwhelmed as they danced. Soon, Sri Gaurachandra roared loudly and began to dance profusely. Nityananda Swarup immediately got up and joined the Lord, and both lords danced in the midst of the devotees. No one knew who fell on top of whom, who caught who, and who took whose feet dust on their heads. So it is maddened by the intoxication, spiritual intoxication of Nityananda Prabhu and drinking the water that had washed his lotus feet. They're having this mad kirtan, they're all falling on top of each other and like that. One cannot describe who cried by holding whose neck or who did what. The devotees didn't fear that they were with the Lord. Both the Lord and his servants danced together. Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya embraced each other and danced in ecstasy. The earth shook by the weight of Nityananda's steps. Seeing his dancing, all the devotees chanted, Hari, Hari. So if Lord Sankarshan is maintaining the universe, is holding them on his thousands of hoods, so, to him that weight, imagine the weight even of one planet, of this Earth planet. Has anybody worked out the weight of the Earth planet? Is that possible?
Interesting.
Yeah, it should be maybe somewhere. Anyway, I guess you could take a part of it, say 1 acre square, and then multiply it by, and then find that should be the weight of it. Anyway, so immensely heavy, floating in space by the potency, the strength of Sankarshan, Ananta. So if that Ananta himself is dancing on the earth, imagine the weight. And so it says, that's what it says, the earth shook by the weight of Nityananda's steps. Being intoxicated with ecstasy, the two lords of Vaikuntha danced in the company of their devoted followers. Although the Vedas describe their appearance and disappearance, I'm doing that, that's what it says there. There is never an end to their pastimes. After dancing in this way for the entire day, Gaurahari sat down with his associates. Clapping his hands 3 times, Sri Gaurasundar frankly spoke to everyone as follows. The Lord said, anyone who keeps faith and engages in the service of this Nityananda Swarup actually keeps faith and serves me. His lotus feet are worshipped by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Therefore all of you show love to him. If a person maintains even a tinge of envy towards him, then he's not dear to me, even if he is a devotee. So that means people who are too much wrapped up in the rules and regulations of the Vedas, and they're looking at the character of Nityananda Prabhu, how he's avadut, and how his behavior is sometimes very strange and difficult to comprehend, and appears to go against the injunctions of the Vedas. And even if a tinge of envy or doubt comes in their mind about Nityananda, then they wouldn't be getting the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So that's why, actually, we say, in our line, our lineage is called Rupanuga. The Rupanuga Sampradaya is a Raga Marga. It's a path of spontaneous, loving devotion to the Lord, which doesn't mean is not following rules and regulations, but it means that plane of ecstatic, automatic, spontaneous love is existing beyond the rules and regulations. So that is like above our head, Pujala Raga Pat Gaurava Bange Matala Harijan Kirtana Range. We worship that path through Kirtan, and Krishna is called Lila Purushottam. He's Purushottam, Supreme Person, but Lila Purushottam. He's worshipped through, in and with and through his pastimes. Whereas other avatars of the Lord, like Lord Ramachandra and so many others, Maryada Purushottam, means they're worshipped. Haribol Prabhu. Haribol, I see. He's worshipped specifically through the rules and regulations of the Vedas. You see? That's different, it's very different. In other words, And if you read Revealed Truth, Srila Govinda Maharaj says this very, very clearly, and it came home to me quite strongly. Of course, I knew it before, but the actual truth of it came home, that Krishna can only be satisfied through love, actually. Yeah. Doesn't matter how many things you do, follow this, follow that, all of those things are good, but it's the love. It's like if someone has a food and only this particular kind of food will satisfy them, right? Naturally you will try to supply that food to them. Or they like potato, fried potato, or they like sandesh, whatever it may be. So naturally you try to supply that. If you offer them something else, it's not going to hit the spot for them. So, same way, Krishna is actually satisfied through love. He says that, patram pushpam phalam toyam, the clue is there in the Gita. If one offers me with love and devotion, patram pushpam phalam yo me bhakti is with love and affection. Priti means love and affection. I accept that offering. Otherwise he is not under any obligation to accept it, just because it's offered with many Vedic mantras, rules and regulations. So you see, when we do the mantras and so on, mainly that is for our purification. We're doing archaman, saying mantras, it's for our own, I'm going to worship and serve the Lord, so let me purify myself, like that. So those things can't actually satisfy Krishna, specifically. But as now, in our conditioned state, we can't worship Krishna directly. That's called bhajan. We can't directly reciprocate with the Lord, even in his deity form. So we are worshipping him through the medium. We are worshipping him through the medium of mantra pasana. It's called mantra pasana. So when Krishna says, because Krishna can accept, for example, offering the food, the bhog, when the mantra is said through the sound, Krishna is eating the sound, you can say. It's awkward in language. But because Krishna's angani yasya sakalendra britti manti, all his senses are like all the other senses. So it's not limited like us. We only see through the eye, we can't hear through the eye. We can only hear through the ear, we can't see through the ear. But Krishna not like that. So his hearing is his eating. Yes? In that way. So that is indirect worship in that sense, to satisfy Krishna. And then the direct service, bhajan, worship of the deity, we see in the example of Sanatana Goswami talking with the deity Madan Mohan, having some funny dealings, like he's offering some chapati, some flour, he's mixing with water, putting it in the fire, and then just offering that. And Madan Mohanji is saying, can you put some salt in that, at least, So he's getting some salt from somewhere. Next day he's mixing some salt and offering. So then Madan Mohanji says, it's okay, but have you got some ghee? So next day, and then Sanatana goes, I understand. You just want me to eat all this opulent prasad, In this way, reciprocating directly. So, that is actually what is going to satisfy the Lord. But it's not that we can artificially think we can do that now. But the fact is that the affection has the bigger part, has the more superior aspect. The example is like that. For example, the rules and regulations say when we worship the deity we can't stand on the altar, put our foot on the altar, of course, naturally. That would be. But if the crown is going to fall from the head of the deity, then spontaneously we'll stand up and to do that, for the seva, for the service. Yes. So apparently crossing the rules and regulations for the seva. This is the idea. So it's not just, we're not just under the rules and regulations and can't cross that, if the service necessity is there. But not as a matter of course, we'll just do anything as we feel like. Do you follow the point? It requires some little bit of understanding. But so that's the thing about here, is where Lord Chaitanya is saying that you have to show love to Nityananda Prabhu. Otherwise, if you have any envy towards him, then even if you're claiming to be devotee of me, of Lord Chaitanya, I don't accept you. Krishna will never leave that person who is touched by the air that has passed by Nityananda's body. After hearing the Lord's words, all the devotees immediately chanted, Jai, Jai. Nearly finished. Lord Gaurachandra becomes the master of one who hears these topics with devotion. Those who saw these pastimes of Nityananda Swarup know his glories in truth. Only Lord Chaitanya's most fortunate associates know the unlimited influence of Lord Nityananda. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Chandajan Vrindavana Dasa Tachu Pada Jugegan. Accepting Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Jai. So that's some of the pastimes of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So we can do maybe some kirtan or what?
I just wanted to see the name of the book.
What? Chaitanya Bhagavat.
Oh.
So, Lydia? Oh, right now.
Well,
Okay.
they just closed the... Did they do the offering? Or this? Yeah, it's now the offering.
You can chant a bit.
Yeah, we chant. Yeah.
Okay. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shakti Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Advaita Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare
some water. I'm gonna get some water.
Oh, let's see. We should sing this. Nitai Chaitanya Bala. Yeah, let's sing the Nitai Chaitanya Bala. 127.
The offering comes up in a minute and then Archie can start.
So should we sing or not?
It's up to you. You got like 2 minutes and then I'll be ready.
What do you say, Krishna Bhai?
Exactly. You have to begin with, right?
Deciding agent.
That's what I'm doing 2 minutes.
Yeah, probably. Oh no. Alright, you can start up. Thanks. Okay. Dayal Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nache Amar Nath. Dayal Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nache Amar Nath. Nache Amar Nath. Nache Amar Nath. Nache Amar Nath. Dayal Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nache Amar Nath. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
की जय विश्व परमहंस प्रेमराजाचार्य वार्य स्वतंत्र सत श्रीमा भक्ति निर्मलाचार्य महाराज की जय विश्व परमहंस प्रेमराजाचार्य वार्य स्वतंत्र सत श्रीमा भक्ति सुंदर गोविंद देव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय विश्व परमहंस प्रेमराजाचार्य वार्य स्वतंत्र सत श्रीमा भक्ति रक्षक शिला देव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय विश्व परमहंस प्रेमराजाचार्य वार्य स्वतंत्र सत श्रीमा भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर की जय विश्वपाद श्री गौर किशोरदास स्वामी महाराज की जय विश्वपाद श्री सच्चिद आनंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय विश्वपाद श्री जगन्नाथ दास स्वामी महाराज की श्री रूप गुरु वाल्मीकि की रामाचार्य शिला हरिदास ठाकुर की आनंद कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की श्री बालदेव विद्याभूषण की श्री विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती प्रभु की श्री नारायण श्यामानंद श्रीनिवासाचार्य प्रभु की श्री वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की श्री कृष्णदास कविराज की साक्षात श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की साक्षात श्रीमा महाप्रभु की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की शुद्ध भक्ति विद्या विनाश श्री सिंहदेव की भक्त प्रभा प्रहलाद महाराज की तुलसी महारानी की गंग जमुन जी की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम चैतन्य चरितामृत की विश्व वैष्णव राजशाब की आकर मत राजश्री चैतन्य मत की तदीय शाख मत की श्री चैतन्य सरस्वत मत की श्री चैतन्य सरस्वत मत वेस्ट लंदन चैप्टर की विश्वव्यापी तदीय शाख मत की श्रीराम मायापुर की श्रीराम नवदीप की वृंदावन पुरुषोत्तम धाम की बलदेव सुभद्रा जगन्नाथ जी की श्री गोविंद कुंड की श्री सदाशिवा गंगाधर जी की सामवेद मंदिर की सामवेद भक्त वृंद की हरिनाम संकीर्तन की निताय गौर प्रेमानंद Jai Guਰੂ Granth Sahib Ji